So with this practice and what I'm doing is I'm not going to look at my phone and pay attention to who's in the chat. And the reason is that can become an obsession as well, right? Constantly checking for messages, constantly on social media, constantly binging. So the way I'm talking out here, I'm talking to myself. I'm not talking to the chat. I might look over from time to time, but when I'm not looking over, I'm in the moment. Or I'm projecting positive thoughts. Now, the thing about projecting positive thoughts is, well, I've had a lot of obsessions about that as well. Whether, constantly thinking, what is the right thing to do? And when you think about what the right thing to do is, and you're uncertain between two, two possible ways, it can make you feel stuck. Here's a truck in the background here or something. All right, bye, buddy. As I was saying, uncertainty can drive anxiety, and in my experience, drives most anxiety. You can have fear because you're uncertain of what's going to happen. Say you're going to get in a fight or something. Just an example, say you're going to get in a fight and you're uncertain if you're going to win or lose. That uncertainty can drive anxiety, can drive fear, can drive all these emotions. So take another example about, you see a thought came up, wanted me to go to the next topic. That's not bad, but I'm going to let it stay there and try not to be all over the place, but at the same time, just let it flow. Damn, hold up. Because I just thought about the chat. And then I lost my train of thought. So, see what I'm doing here? I'm just chilling. I know I'm facing this way. I'm not facing my camera because I've been on technology too much, and that's another obsession. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things in this world that can pull us in and take all of our attention, and when we have no time to stop and think, if you will, or stop and be here, smell the flowers, if you will. If you don't take time to stop and smell the flowers, breathe in and breathe out, those ideas and those things you want to do can seem so far away. If you're constantly indulging in something, those ideas of those divinely inspired thoughts may not be able to arise because you're constantly in the process of doing something instead of giving yourself some time to not do anything. And that's very important as well. Sitting here sometimes and just stopping your train of thought. It's peaceful, but if your mind's chaotic, I'll have to tell you, it won't be everything. Is what I'm starting to realize as well. The presence of spirit is a lot, but spirit, you can use the power that you find and harness it into the channel of your thoughts. Now, you don't want to be too attached to your thoughts and the ideas about yourself, because those ideas can constantly change. You got to find the self you are beneath all those ideas. Your eternal self. But when it comes to the mind, it can keep you from being your true self if it's out of alignment with who you are now. So if you have anxiety, you are not somebody that is just cursed or born with anxiety. You developed it, you got it somehow, right? Whether you experience OCD and you have this disorder that gives you certain anxieties, there is a way to reverse that. OCD is just obsessive thinking, obsessive-compulsive behavior, right? And I could inhibit some of these things. I've been blessed with a very overactive mind, but I think with good reason, so I can realize how to reverse and lessen those thought patterns in the mind and calm them, I wouldn't have the insight I did about the mind or anything if I didn't have so much trouble with my thoughts, right? So anxiety can be a blessing too, because once you find your way in overcoming that, you're much more knowledgeable, at least you'd hope, on yourself and how to channel your thoughts or control your thoughts. Control is a tricky word. I like to use control. The word control can even arise some type of, just from certain things I've read, certain things I've experienced. If I read something about how I shouldn't control things and let things go in a spiritual way, I can hear the word control and be like, oh no, maybe I don't want to. Just shut up, you know what I mean? It's the mind though. It's that self-talk in your head. It's that voice in your head, but it's not you. You're here. You're here, baby, and you're now. There's no change in that. There's no change in the self. You're here now. It's perfect and eternal. But you're also a living human that will engage with the mind, will have thoughts, will have goals, will have experiences and desires, and that's just the world we live in. But we can embrace those things. But we want our desires to be in alignment with our highest good, not desires based on egoic mind patterns, negative mind patterns. You can have a desire to go this extreme and kill somebody, right? You can have a desire to do that. You can have a desire to do terrible things. But it's clearly that wouldn't be a true desire from your spirit or your true self. That's an emotion. It's an emotion and a thought that arose, or you might have something wrong with you if you're trying to kill somebody. And that might be, want to get that checked out a little more deeply. Take a moment to smell the flowers. It's a great saying. Probably heard it from Eckhart Tolle, which is a wonderful spiritual teacher. But remember, the greatest spiritual teacher is within yourself, not outside here. Everything is just secondary here. But we are living to enjoy the human experience. We are living to master our thoughts as well. That is something you can do. Okay, it's not the main purpose, but it's vital in your existence to feel like your thoughts aren't running your life. You have control over those thoughts. You have the ability to not be fazed by an anxious thought. You just see it for what it is, a thought. And when you can do that, and you can also start expecting positive change, which is something I just learned. I mean, it's things that I knew, but I'm not going to get too deep into my personal experience about why. But something I just learned is very simple. I mean, I just watched it somewhere, and I'm like, well, that makes pretty good sense. Expecting positive change, right? And the reason why sometimes a part of me wants to surrender and be with God and do only that. But I realize that the mind needs to be in alignment. And just being here will not change the mind, because right when I go back, I could have a meditation and be clear. But right when I go back to regular daily life, engaging with things, there goes the mind again. And there goes the anxiety coming back, because I'm not in a place where I can be still enough. I could be working. I could be talking to people that could be aggravating me. It's, So that's why it's important to have your mind in alignment with what you desire in your deepest core being. If you want to be a positive, more confident person, then you should expect or consider the idea of being a more confident person, having more confident thoughts. Because you can shape that, you can step into that. The spirit realm is always there. But for the moments when you engage with the mind, are you identified with those thoughts too much? Are you identified with those thoughts at all? Because if you are identified with positive thought, you might also be very strongly identifying yourself with a negative thought. It's important to realize that your thoughts are a means of power to harness and a tool, but don't have to be something that you completely identify with. I can use my thoughts to express myself more confidently. I can view an image of me being more confident, more present, more calm. I can expect to feel more present and calm and less anxious. But I don't have to base my identity around that thought, if that makes sense. Try to break that down a little bit. Let's dive into that. And I'm just speaking for myself here. I know I'm on this TikTok live, but I'm speaking for myself. This is my own self-exploration that I just decided to pull out my phone and get on live, I guess. But this is what I'm dealing with. You know, what I'm helping myself realize more every day. You know, the most I can. I will now look over at the screen, and I may have 0 viewers, because I haven't looked at the screen. I have 1 viewer. 1. Any comments at all? 0. That is hilarious, but it's okay. Because, look, I'm just documenting it, because why not? You know what I'm saying? Just why not? It's good for myself. I can look back on this if I really desire to. See, that was okay. That was controlled. The camera's set up here. I'm over here. I just feel like I got all this, wisdom, and I'd like people to hear it. I expect them to. In here, actually, I don't really think so, because nobody commented. But I'll see you guys later. Voila.